Hello, and welcome back to Wisdom from the Sages, where we bring you our perspective on the weekly Sedra. In last week's video, Reb Shlomo gave us a great insight into the Sedra of Noach. So, Reb Shlomo, what are we going to learn this week?
Thank you, Mark. Nice to see you again, and lovely to see all the viewers looking in. Shalom to you all. Well, this week is, of course, Parshas Lecha, and we're going to start by examining what is a challenge. Now, a challenge is an interesting word. What does it mean? Those of us who have been around a while will know the program University Challenge, where different teams are asked different questions. But the challenge I want to talk about is far more of a personal thing. Now, a challenge can be to the individual. It can be in relation to how they work with other people. It can be emotional, physical, all sorts of things. But whatever that challenge is, it comes from God. And there's a very dear friend of mine who said this to me a long time ago, but it's stuck in my mind. And he said this, Mark.
Yeah.
He said, if a person doesn't get a challenge in their lives at least once every 30 days, they should be worried. And I said, worried? I thought they'd be delighted. What do they want to be worried for? No. He said, you missed the point. The point is, if they don't get a challenge, maybe God's forgotten all about them. Whoa, that was a little bit of a humdinger, as they say, and I've kept that in my head, and I thought, interesting. Now, we all get them. They can be small, minor challenges. They can be major events. But let's take it a bit further, Mark, if we may, because let's say that we are in the position where we get a challenge. Why do we get it? What is it for?
Wow.
And I think we've got to look at that because it's quite profound. And I would say this: the object of the exercise is to see if we can sink or swim. And when we come through at the other end of the challenge, are we better people for it? Now, I personally don't believe that God will give anybody a challenge that they can't get through, because there's no point in giving them a challenge that they can't get through. Now, it may be difficult. It may be demanding beyond their worst nightmares. But at the end of it, the purpose is to refine the individual, to make them better people, and so that in the way they deal with themselves and others, that they come out better, stronger, more attuned, more able to engage with others. And I think that is what it's all about. So, talking about challenges, let's look at the Sedra of the week. Now, there is our very dear friend, our progenitor, Abraham, still at that stage, Avram. And what happens at the beginning of the Sedra, Mark, is that God talks to him. And he says, Abraham, Lech Lecha, get up and go. But it's not as simple as that. Lech Lecha me'atzecha, me'oladcha, u'mibeis avicha. El oretz asharecha. Let's see what all that says. Get up and go, me'atzecha, from your land, me'oladcha, from your place of birth, u'mibeis avicha, and from your father's house, to a place that I'm going to show you. Whoa. Now that, as a challenge goes, I think you'll agree, is a bit demanding. Let's analyse it, because there's a lot in there in those few words, and if we don't see where it's coming from, we'll miss the point. It's all very well for me to say to you, for example, okay, I want you to move from where you live in London, and I want you to go and live in Birmingham. All right, that may not be so drastic. But here, Avram's being asked to cut all his ties with the past. The environment he knows, from your land, but the whole area where he lives, the whole district or country, no, you've got to go right away from that. From your birthplace, that which is somewhere comfortable, in your as they say, in your daladamas, in your own vicinity. And now we lift it even higher. You're going to leave your father's house. Not literally the four walls, but the family group. Cut it all and go. But what's worse or more demanding, I want you to go to a place that I'm going to tell you about. Now, I just said an example. Birmingham. Okay, well, you may not know exactly where Birmingham is, but you've got an idea. And you may not know every little district there, but you could get used to it. But here, Avram is being asked to move away from everything familiar, everybody familiar, all the environment he knows, on what appears to be the world's first mystery tour. Right? Get up and go. Don't worry where you're going. I'll show you. Wow. Does this require some sort of faith? Is this a challenge? I rather think so. But let's add a little spice, a little extra factor. Because we're told, and let me just find exactly what the source is in chapter 12, tells us, yes, here we go. Chapter 12, verse 4, for those who want to look it up. But at the time, Abraham was 75 years old. Now, let's put aside the potential argument as to whether years then are the same as years in length now. Let's just say 75. And we all know that there are people who go and make aliyah and go to the Holy Land to live in their 80s and 90s. And of course, our thoughts are very much with Eretz Yisrael and the people there at the moment. But 75 is not, I think, an age where you will really be thinking about upsticks and atom. As someone who's not that far off from 75, not too close either, but you know, I would think long and hard about making such a transition. And what does Avram do? No questions, no hesitation. He's up. He's ready for it. He's ready to go. He takes his wife, Sarah. He takes his nephew, Lot. They pack their bags, as it were, and off they go. That is his response to a life-changing major challenge. And that's one of the perspectives that distinguishes him. Now, as we know, he had 10 tests in life. This was one of them, to make sure that he was worthy to be the progenitor of the Jewish people. And here he comes out with 100% grade on the test, totally and utterly committed. Amazing in my consideration, Mark, although not that my consideration is worth an awful lot, but that someone should be prepared to demonstrate their faith, because of course he was a big man in his time. He was well known. Everybody in that part of the world, which was then the civilized world, knew who he was. And so, whoa, can you hear it? Did you hear the news? Avram and his family, they're moving, they're going. What? Where are they going? Who knows? Nobody knows. He doesn't know. But he's prepared to show his faith in God by doing just that. I think we have to metaphorically take our hats off to him. So, okay, we know, I think we can be satisfied that he passed his test. He came through the challenge unequivocally. Now let's go back to where we started a little while ago, because we were talking about personal challenges to us. As I said, the object of the exercise is to get us through the challenge and to make us better people at the end. Well, we see in forthcoming chapters in Sefer Bereshis in the book of Genesis just what happened with Abraham and how he became the father of the Jewish people and gave us evidence of what we call midas, qualities of a personality that made him great. Let's just hope that when we get challenges, we can respond positively in the same way, and that we come through it as better people, and that therefore we can be role models to others. That's very much an in thing, role models, but it is very important, because how you engage with other people, how you deal with other people, makes an entire difference. And we call it making a Kiddush Hashem, that we sanctify God's name by behaving properly, by speaking properly, by conducting ourselves in a way that other people say, this is a good Jew. Thank you very much, Mark.
Wow, I mean, I'm sure everyone will take a great nugget from that, especially from Reb Shlomo. Now, Reb Shlomo talks about role models, and I think that we can all look up to the rabbi and say, this was a great perspective on this week's Hedra. So we've got a little bonus for you, which we're going to put in as a link in the description at the bottom of the video. If you subscribe to our channel, we're going to give you an extra parsha straight into your inbox. So all we ask you to do is like, subscribe, and please click on the link in the description, and we'll send you an email with the weekly parsha, some added extras that we've put together. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
We certainly do. And thank you for that extra, Mark.
You're welcome. Take care.
All the best. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel for some great content.